Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking Harry. That's right, the Ginge Winge is back in the news and he continues to make the worst choices ever. So I thought, you know what, let's sit down and have a conversation about it. I found a pretty great article I want to go over breaking down why he continues to be the worst. But first, I want to introduce the best, my co host. Say hi, co host.
Yes, I'm the best around. Never gonna let you down. This is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes, on YouTube and Twitch. We're here to talk about news. We got news.
Yeah, so Jan Moyer of the Daily Mail put out this article, which I thought was pretty great. And I thought we could maybe talk our way through it and talk about what the heck Harry is up to. Now, we put out a video yesterday where we talk about how William had a victory in terms of he was able to settle his case. And it sounds like he and Catherine were. And they did some great things with the money, which we'll talk about. I'm sorry, we did get it a little bit wrong. We were corrected a lot in the comments. When I Googled it, I was quoting an article that said they had, settled for an undisclosed amount. Well, it turns out it was disclosed. It was about $1 million. It settled a while ago. It sounds like he got paid this amount. And it's coming up now because, of course, Harry is about to go to court over this same thing, kind of. And I say kind of. Jay, why don't you fill us in?
So this case is based in the UK, so Harry's got plenty of time to handle the case, but it's an in and out thing for the coronation. But I guess the big thing is that William and Kate were hacked 100 plus times, hence the large settlement. Harry was hacked 9 times. I guess they didn't like what they saw, or they got enough out of those 9 times, one or the other, I guess. But I mean, if you extrapolate those numbers, so they settled for $1 million. I think the rumor is he was offered 200,000. I mean, it sounds like a pretty good ratio, but he's taking it to court. He wants more money. I got to pay for my Meghan things. She needs clothes.
Nice. So, yeah, it was brought to our attention that William then turned around and gave the money to Invictus, which I absolutely love. I love William and Catherine so much. Some of you guys said she gave hers to some children's charities. Some of you said she also gave hers to Invictus. Whatever they did with it, that is brilliant. That is fantastic. And notice that they were able to do that without, cameras recording every move. Harry and Meghan. So I am very interested to see. I don't know. I kind of hope his case is thrown out because it'd be hilarious. But I am interested to see if he gets any money at all, what he turns around and does with it. Now, they do have a track record for allegedly saying they're going to donate, and then mysteriously things don't get donated. So I'm curious about that as well.
So back to Jan. She writes, "What does one give one's pa to mark the monumental occasion of his ceremonial ascension to the throne? A sacred moment he has been preparing for his entire life. A pair of socks or a box of chalks just won't cut it on this day of days. Something in a silver frame seems a bit lame. So you have to give Prince Harry a ribbon of tattered credit for handing King Charles a coronation gift he will never forget, or possibly forgive. So, I wonder what that could be. Oh, perhaps a newly minted crown from Burgerpaw in the States, or maybe what else could he give him? Oh, I know. Perhaps a velvet pillow with a velvet cover that I will unveil my hand with the middle finger gently extended towards his face. No, I need money."
I know what he's going to give him as a gift. He's going to give him indigestion because he can't shut the hell up. Prince Pouty is just on it again. So instead of letting his father enjoy his coronation, he's making a big spectacle out of this case. He's, like Jay said, making a point to be there when the papers are pointing out he doesn't actually need to be there for this part. But he's showing up for that, but he can't show up for his dad but for a couple hours in and out, which is, hey, listen, fine by me. I don't even think he should be there. I'm just, again, his priorities. I hate the media. I hate the media. But yet he's doing all this through the media. He keeps putting out these pieces and letting people know where he's at on this stuff, and he's dragging this case back out. So fuck off.
How could he? Just over a week before coronation, which will be beamed around the world to a television audience of millions, Harry has peeled open a fresh seam in his obsessive war of grievance against the British press. He is suing newsgroup newspapers over alleged historical unlawful information gathering, one of 3 major cases being brought, including one against this newspaper group. That is entirely his right, but it is the monarchy, more than anything else, that his actions damage the most. Boom, boom, boom goes the ordnance from Harry's cannons of wrath, straight through the castle ramparts and into the inner sanctum, imploding any remnants of family calm before the big day. At a time when Charles and Camilla need it least, he has dragged the embarrassing memory of Tampon Gate back in the public arena and has suggested that Prince William agreed a settlement with NGN. So I do remember Tampon Gate, so they're going to drag this back out.
We're not on Patreon.
Yeah, so that I'm sure that was embarrassing, and it could be embarrassing again, especially now that he's king. I mean, now that he's got a crown, they could just orient it the right way, and he could be a diva cup, I guess.
Oh my god!
But that's not a good look. So it's going to drag that back out, and the jokes will come.
Oh my god, please don't ever say Tampon Gate again in Diva Cup. Ew.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not going to benefit anybody, but I mean, I guess Harry, since he wants to make people look bad. But I mean, it's basically if you were helping your grandparents fix their phone and you found a bunch of sex, except everybody gets to see it, and now he's like, the king of England. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
And then, yeah. Exactly. Then you drag it out on the world stage while he's receiving the best or whatever the biggest achievement of his life. It is real. I mean, just again, I'm gonna deviate from the article for a minute and say, just think about the hypocrisy here. You're exactly right. I'm digesting all of this. I'm feisty. Go with me on this journey. Happy Friday, everybody. So he throws a hissy fit if anybody dares come for Meghan, and yet he sure isn't afraid to come for Camilla. So there's that. The other thing I just keep thinking about this ass clown is he keeps throwing him and his stupid Instagram-loving bitch wife love to throw these accusations of racism around with nothing to back it up. They just say these things, right? And then when people call them on it, they're like, no, it's the press, bullshit. But they're doing this thing again where they're beating the drum of racism, and then if you really stop and think about it, again, it blows me away why the Sugars defend him, because the only one that dressed up in a blank uniform, a World War II era uniform, was Harry. He's the one that's shown time and time again racist behavior. And don't even get me started on Meghan. Where were all her family that she was proud of? Oh, look at that. They weren't there.
That is true. He did wear a uniform that was associated with a political party in power that had very specific views on which race was superior, which is, I guess, textbook racism.
Yeah. Oh, but just a reminder, he likes to say, he said in his stupid book, it was Catherine and William's fault. Even though we've found out since they weren't even together at that time, he still blames them for his stupid actions. This guy's an ass.
So we remember that specific time when Prince William and Catherine, who I guess he wasn't even dating at that moment, they were on a break, famously beat up Harry, shoved him into the uniform, buttoned it up, and then he's like, "Oh no, I don't know how to work buttons. I'm trapped. They've foiled my Halloween plans."
Yeah, it's funny that he tried to pass the blame to them, and yet he doesn't explain why 2 of his other friends were in painted up faces. He didn't even address that part in the book because, why let the truth stand in your way?
Like a conspiratist high on his beloved ayahuasca and the rich fumes of hubris, the Duke of Sussex went on to allege in court this week that a secret pact exists between senior members of the royal family and newspaper bosses. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. Let's hack the people we've got an agreement with.
Yeah.
This seems to be news to absolutely everyone except Harry. Although he provided little of the density of detail that might helpfully support such a notion, not for the first time it crossed my mind that just because Harry passionately believes something does not necessarily mean that it is true. To peruse his 31-page statement to the court is to understand, as fantastical as it seems, that Harry sees himself not as a man possessed, but as a knight in shining armor, the great redeemer, not only of himself and his family, but of the government, the media industry, the people of this great country, the country itself, and indeed the very concept of democracy.
And then listen to what this clown goes on to say. Harry's quoted as saying, quote, "Our country is judged globally by the state of our press and our government, both of whose reputations, I believe, are currently at rock bottom." Okay. I would say his reputation is currently at rock bottom. Hello, no self-awareness. Then Jan takes a jab at Harry, which I love. She says, "Fumes, this great international statesman, conveniently forgetting that no one has done more than he to damage this country's image around the world, primarily by claiming it to be a racist, backwater form, which he and his apparently victimized wife were so desperate to escape." Bam! Nailed it. That's the part of this article that really jumped out at me. The lack of awareness from him, it just astounds me. He is a spoiled child. He is rotten to the core.
So I believe this reporter, of course she's with the media, she doesn't understand, that it is a big plan of mine to free this country of and democracy itself from journalism. And I am like a knight in shining armor from a long time ago. Just in time, I will save the day and take you to my castle far away. We'll live forever knowing together.
Oh my God. But instead of the Karate Kid, he's the whiny kid.
The statement makes it clear that Harry believes the royal family are a bunch of gullible fools being led through the noses by evil media forces they don't understand, while only he and he alone is wise enough to put on his goggles of perception and see the real truth. It's almost embarrassing. Everyone likes to swim in their own sea of pet delusions. God knows I have a thrash myself now and again, but Harry is drowning in a gluttonous pool of sheer fantasy. Wow, that is some very flourished words, but hilarious.
Perfect. See, this is exactly why I love this article. So yeah, she says he's wise. Let's see, he alone is wise enough to put on his, quote, goggles of perception and see the real truth. And I think, where were those goggles when you were choosing a spouse?
Well, I think in that scenario, he brought the wrong goggles case with him. He was on the yacht, so I think he had his goggles of booze strapped to his face.
He blames tabloid newspapers for everything bad in his life, including his teenage substance taking, his drinking, his exam failures, and even his fondness for playing naked billiards in Las Vegas. Why? Because he felt he had to, quote, play up to the headlines and stereotypes they wanted to place upon me. I want to add to that, but she just says it so perfectly, and I couldn't agree more. He's a stupid, angry man.
That's some deeply flawed logic. So are the newspapers his vision board and he has to follow through on his secret or whatever? Is that how that works?
It's like, oh, they wrote it, so I must fulfill my prophecy.
Somebody must have written that he was real stupid then, because he seems to be fulfilling that prophecy.
He claims,
"The tabloids would constantly try and coax me, a damaged young man, into doing something stupid that would make a good story."
Yeah, that's how that works. Hey, can we start a blog where I'm a billionaire that has a fleet of Lambos? So, like, we can make that happen. That's how that works.
Sure.
According to Harry, that's how that works. So she continues, what? Everything is everyone else's fault, which takes the concept of willful unaccountability to a whole new level of victimhood. Well, yeah, that's pretty perfect, so I don't know what else to say.
I say this all the time. I saw myself quoted on Twitter as saying this, which I love. He's a passenger in his own life. He will refuse to take any responsibility for anything. Everything is everybody else's fault, and for some reason he's decided it's the media's fault. Jan goes on to say, I don't dispute that Prince Harry has had some difficult times, but there comes a point in life where you have to stop blaming others and take responsibility for yourself. It is staggering that this 38-year-old former soldier and father of two has yet to reach that level of maturity. He is the bad apple who will not ripen, for at his core blooms the black pip of eternal petulance.
So that's what Harry has going on right now. Constant victimhood and holding his hand up for money, I guess. But he'll be at the coronation. So to go back to the beginning, I guess I am curious what his gift may be. But that being said, Jen showed me that somebody made a chocolate statue of Charles out of Twix. So I don't care what he or anyone else brings. They need to just tilt that gift table up to the dumpster and throw a match in, because what else could you want than a delicious clone of yourself that you get to devour? I mean, I want to be king now. Anyways, this has been Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch and possibly Twix. Bye.
Wow, I don't even know how to follow that up. That is like the ultimate form of narcissism if you want to eat yourself. I don't know.
Anti-narcissist?
Or, yeah, true. I don't know. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate every one of you. We're so excited for coronation next week. We will be there reporting and excited about that. What else? Check out my merch. We got all kinds of stuff. Recollections may vary. Make it make sense. Look at me. We got smug mugs. So check those out. Also, Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. I had an epiphany while filming this. We need to dive into Tampon Gate voicemail and talk about that on Patreon because, oof. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks so much for everything. We hope you have the best day. Take care. Bye-bye.